Effing Worm 2 from Effing Games. You play as a giant monstrous worm that lives in the ground. It must feed by breaching the surface like a whale to consume organic matter. Doing so will cause the worm to grow larger. When the game starts, the music is calm, and everyone is walking around peacefully. But as soon as you emerge from the depths, the people will scream, and metal music starts to play. Humans, chickens, cows, and non-cat will all be consumed. After you eat everyone on the screen, you can choose between one of two upgrades, from your size, spikes, and your hunger. But with each stage, there will be more people to eat, and more threats to face, like bombers, tanks, and Gundam suits. After so many levels, you can go in an endless spree and consume all you'd like. Just watch your worm get bigger and faster until he takes up the whole screen. Now this is what I'm talking about. Electric Man 2 by DX Interactive and released in 2007. You play as a stickman with electric power surging through them. When you start the game, you can choose your name and the color of your electricity. You are sent into an arena as you have to fight several other stickmen. Each stickman group has different attire and stats, so you're not just facing numbers. Well, in a literal sense anyway. Your attacks are through ASD. A is for punches, S is for kicks, D is for grabs. These attacks will change depending on how many enemies are around you. Using Q, W, and E are slow-mo attacks. These are powerful, upgraded versions of your abilities, but they also use energy. See that battery by your health bar? That represents the amount of uses you have before you have to recharge. The game is a blast to play, honestly. Being able to knock enemies around and beat them down with slow-mo moves is fun as all hell. My favorite thing to do is to use the running slow-mo kick on multiple enemies. Not only does it do a lot of damage, but it's also so satisfying to do. Electric Man 2, play it now! Primarily on NewGrounds. God's Playing Field by Mercury Lime. A man visits God in heaven who complains about his friend's death he believes was unjust. So what does God do? Falls asleep right there. So to pass the time, the man gets on God's computer and opens what he thinks is a game. You see a green field filled with humans, stick figures, wizards, and sentient cars moving back and forth. Your objective is simply to cause mayhem. Your first item is God's Fist, but you can also unlock a spinning scythe, lightning strike, poison cloud, pillar of fire, bowling ball, piano drop, tidal wave, and a nuke, all of which are activated by a click of the mouse. It's incredibly easy to unlock everything, especially since you can add up to 25 entities on the field. Don't worry, this game released in 2005, so your computer will absolutely take it. After using the nuke for the first time, the game ends, and you can go into freestyle mode.
Why, that's remarkable. I didn't know I had an elevator in here. Wait a minute. Hey,
This one is a personal favorite of mine and my sister's, as we would play this game for hours. Interactive Buddy. You have the buddy, who mainly consists of just a few gray spheres. In your items menu, you only have a few options, like fists, open hand, baseballs, etc. So, what do you do with these items? Well, you can either hurt him for instant income, or make him happy. If you do that, then he will occasionally pay you randomly. The damaging items give you more, while the good ones help in the long run. Depending on how you treat him, his mood will actually change. If he's upset, he will cower in the corner. If he's happy, he'll run up to you and do flips. He even learns throughout the game. If you toss a grenade at him, he'll catch it like a baseball, but after it explodes in his hand and you throw another one, he will not only avoid catching it, but he'll also run from it. With the more money you get, the more items, skins, and modes you can unlock. Items include a flamethrower, shotgun, stun gun, missiles, and infants? Some skins include Tom Fulp, the creator of NewGrounds, a Teletubby, and Napoleon Dynamite, which is the only one that uses voice clips.
such an idiot.
Some modes add gore or remove the roof. This game is the ultimate test of morality, much like pushing the shopping cart in the cart holder. You gain and lose nothing by doing so. Kitten Cannon by Burst Studio. The internet used to be a very edgy place. Many refer to it as the Wild West era, as there were almost no rules. Thus, Kitten Cannon can exist and no one would bat an eye. Just don't let PETA see this, alright? Let's keep this between you and me. You control a cannon as you aim up or down, and time your shot as the meter fills with red to watch the kitten go. The poor thing will fly out and bounce on the ground until it stops, but there are multiple objects on your path that will either help you or stop you. Missiles hung by balloons and TNT on the ground add more speed and distance. Trampolines bounce you higher in the air, but spikes will stop you in your tracks regardless of your speed and make you question your life choices. The goal is simple: see how far you can go. There were other games like this that will come later, even a Kids Next Door Flash game with the same concept. That, I would argue, was done way better. For starters, the camera only moves horizontally, so you can't see the kitten when it's too high in the air. That and this is all there really is. Yep, just this. For a Flash game in 2005, this ain't too bad. Floe from the Mountain. The year is 3004, and pilot Maria Avner and Professor Bo Scrander are sent to the rogue moon Charybdis. They use a mech called the Hinobius to explore under the surface. Maria is focused solely on her work, while Bo is more of a cheery old man. The two get along well, but clearly Maria's work is her main priority. You move with WASD, as holding W uses the boosters that can only last as long as this meter. It refills as you land. To better control yourself and move across the stage, you can use right-click to use a grappling hook. Left-click to use the pneumatic driver. This can clear debris and fight enemies, but you only can have 3 shots at a time. You can reload with R or use the 3rd shot and it will automatically do so. You descend into the depths of Charybdis, and while doing so, things start getting stranger. Monsters that can phase through matter, a giant serpent-like creature chases you, and much more. I thought this would be a simple arcade-like game inspired by Blaster Master, but it turned out to be so much more. Ragdoll Avalanche 2 by Nojdorf in 2006. You control a stick figure ragdoll as spikes fall from the sky. All you can do is move left and right, as the ragdoll just drags itself back and forth. The goal is simple. See how long you can last and how many spikes you can dodge before you get killed. If the spikes fall on a piece of a leg or an arm, that part will be removed. This can actually be helpful as it makes you a smaller target, but lose too much and get your neck pierced by the spikes and it's game over. When you die, you get to see how many spikes you dodged, as the game criticizes you or praises you depending on your performance. Deadly as a blind sniper. Don't try this at home. 48-hour porn marathon? Sometimes something simple as that can keep you coming back for more. But this is Ragdoll Avalanche 2. So what makes it different from the first game? Just the presence of music, sound effects, and blood. That's really it. Spewer is a game developed by Edmund Mcmillen in his early days, before Isaac, Meat Boy, and The End is Nigh, but still after Blue Baby, was this little guy. His entire gimmick is vomiting. Use your vomit to create a path for yourself as you swim through your own bile, but you only have so much to use, but you can reuse it by pressing the spacebar to swallow back his puke. You have 50 levels separated into 5 chapters to get to the exit using both his vomit and physics. By using both, you can give yourself a boost in your jump with the vomit button, but the vomit won't let you fly around the stage, so time it well, or else you'll fall on the spikes and die. A skeleton. This game would come only a year before Super Meat Boy, and 2 years before The Binding of Isaac, which explains why he looks like a hybrid of the two. Pico School is a game about Pico learning about apples and fruit in school. That is until the goth named Cassandra and her friends start attacking the school. During the mayhem, Pico must find a way to stop this madness. It's a point-and-click adventure where you must navigate the school and find the tools needed to stop the shooting. Explore the school to find a gun just sitting in the janitor's closet to face off the shooters. Alucard the telekinetic, Cyclops, Hanzo the samurai, and Cassandra herself, who is actually an alien whose weak point is a giant dick. While it may not seem like much today, the game revolutionized what Flash could do. Some people believe that Pico was the shooter, when he was obviously saving the school. A lot of this was because of a joke from Tank Man's Week and Friday Night Funkin' where he says this.
Don't you have a school to shoot up?
Phantom Arcade has clarified in a stream that Tank Man knows Pico saved the school and he was just trying to get under his skin. Ever since this game, Pico has become one of the biggest faces of NewGrounds, and even gets his own day dedicated to him, called Pico Day. Whack Your Boss is the ultimate power fantasy. Many of us have dealt with a stingy boss, and this game lets your intrusive thoughts win, but not without the consequences of the law. As your boss rambles on and on about how terrible you are at your job and how boring the office space is, you have a number of objects you can click on. Doing so will play an animation where you kill the boss using said item. After doing so, you bring in a cleaner to replay the scenario to find other objects. There are a total of 19 objects you can use to kill your boss. A stapler, umbrella, and a water dispenser can be used to end his miserable life. Even your fellow employees can get involved. This game has resulted in an entire series of different games in the Whack series, such as Whack the Burglars, Whack Your PC, and Whack Your Neighbor are just a few that you can find in the Whack It series on NewGrounds.